welcome you all to another season of Around the Rim, and this is season 15. 15. Brad, this is our 15th season of Around the Rim. I'm your host, the Dudster, Nestor Dudley, along with Bradworth Benton, who's always representing from Holderness, New Hampshire. Brad, welcome once again to another season of the MNBL.
Thank you for having me once again. This is a great honor and privilege to make it here, and 15th year on Around the Rim.
This is show 149, Brad.
149, so that makes the MNBL 22 years old?
22 years old.
22 years old. Man, MNBL.
It just seemed like yesterday was 21 years old.
It does seem like that. It seems like a week ago it was like 14 years on there Around the Rim. Anyway, it is great to be back. The winter time is here, if you can believe it or not. I mean, I don't even need a jacket, but it's a beautiful thing, and the season has begun. Well, it will this weekend.
The season will begin this weekend, Brad. And Brad, before we talk about this season, before we talk about the teams and get to the favorite part of the show, which is going to be roughly 30 minutes from now, the pick'ems, i.e. the goings and the ain't goings, we just have a little bit of business that from the 2006 season, one season gone, that we want to post. We want to post all of the winners of various contests and scholarships from a year ago.
That's nice.
So what we're going to do, Brad, is we're going to start off with the hot shot champion. Makes sense, right?
It does make sense.
So, RA, on the screen, the hot shot champion last year, 2006. Ryan D'Souza.
Squeaked it out, I heard.
Squeaked
it out against Demir Safia. Both 3-year players in the league, but came out victorious. No one even thought he was going to play last year. And the man ends up winning the hot shot.
A 3-year trophy and a hot shot. 3-point champ? Well, what can you say about Stephen Ward? He repeated as 3-point champ. He was league leader in 3 points during the season, and he won the championship in the 2005 season, and again repeated in the 2006 season, and he'll go down as one of the most prolific 3-point shooters in the MNBL.
Oh, I definitely agree. He defeated yet another king in the finals, Danny Souza. Danny Suda. No one ever.
Don't take my gimmick, Brad. Mispronouncing names is my gizmizic.
I do apologize. I will not break kayfabe again. Anyway, yeah, Danny Suda made it to the finals. No one thought he would, but once Steve Wood got there, everyone, including myself, thought there was no way he was going to lose, and he didn't lose. On
to the next category, playoffs MVP. Was there any other choice but Jimmy Dean? Playoffs MVP?
No, not really. The way he dominated down low in the baseline was just unbelievable. He was always there at the right time. His arms went up. Perfect timing. He was determined to bring home yet another title, so he walks away with 2 out of 3 titles and playoff MVP. He earned it.
Rookie of the year going to the Sixers, Josh McCown led the league at the line where everything is free.
Yes, he did. Josh McCown, 71% roughly, 71.9 if I get the numbers right. I could be wrong, but you can always go to the website, MNBL19.tripod.com, and you can go there.
You might want to
check
repeat that
stats.
website again.
MNBL19.tripod.com.
Because
you were going to say, Brad, can you say that any faster?
You know what?
I probably could.
Talking fast is also another gizmizic of mine. Do you want to sit in this chair?
I always talk fast. I talk a lot and I talk often, and sometimes I say things
all he
I
has to do is botch a catchphrase, and he'll be stealing my gimmick too.
I am the greatest. Anyway, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by Go Ref Go, Josh McCown, very good at the free throw line, sophomore. You really didn't have a really great sophomore group, but Josh earned it. He deserved it, and he's back this year again, and he says he's going to win it again.
League MVP, and this year, Brad, it was co-MVP. We all know what Jimmy Dean did for the Bullets, his entire career for the Bullets, and as you mentioned moments ago, he was just a monster in the paint and the madness. But Jamie Guest, that was another coach on the floor for the Hawks.
Absolutely. He was definitely a quarterback. We say it all the time. When you're a point guard, you're the quarterback of your team. Different sports, same scenario, same meaning. Jamie Guest, without him, they barely get 4th place, in my opinion. A lot of people were banking, even without Jamie, will make it. Yeah, you'll make it, but you might squeak into 4th, if not 5th. But anyway, they did make it. They got the second place for the third year in a row. Jamie Guess, probably one of the best point guards to ever come through this league in the 22-year history. Played his 3 years, earned his spot, deserved MVP.
And from what I'm told, Brad, Bonacco Stroud, the cousin of Beanie Amos, has taken a page out of Beanie Amos's book, and Bonacco Stroud has retired his very first number, and that's number 9 for the Hawks. As long as Bonacco Stroud and Javon Walcott have the Hawks, no other player will wear the number 9 of Jamie Guess.
Well, that's a nice thing to do. I think only a couple teams have retired numbers, and it's just an honor, and I assumed that Jamie was going to come back and coach, but I guess he's doing other things and doesn't have the time. But
well, Jamie knows that they're screwed, but we're going to talk about that later on here.
He might want to come back and coach in 2 more years.
The Joseph A. Grossi Scholarship, J.P. Luis, another guy who was a monster in the paint. He wasn't consistent, but still a monster in the paint.
No, not consistent. Jean-Pierre Luis was and could have been a much better player. He ended up getting an all-star nod in his senior year. He probably their best scorer last year. Overall, he was pretty good. And he was good. He could jump. He had the ability. He was athletic. And, that's a great honor to win a Grossi Award. I mean, you know as the Grossi ladies, if you get an award from the Grossis, it's something you want to cherish and use, and I hope he is, and I hope he's taking full advantage of it.
The James Derlin Memorial Scholarship, Jamie Guess of the Hawks.
Couldn't have picked a better player. Jamie Guess, very quiet, on the court, does his job, helps his team, gets everyone better, sitting on the bench, cheers his team on, and he just never talks, never gets in arguments, never had a T against him. And, I mean, he's a perfect fit. And an award like that, another number that was retired by the Kings, James Derlin, number 15, will never be worn by anyone as Coach Rogers and Higgins is still at the helm.
The James A. Tringali Memorial Scholarship, Victor Tran of the Bullets. One of the nicest players ever to come through that league, Brad. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree. Victor Tran, very nice kid, soft-spoken, very intelligent. He was just, we were a little concerned with him last year. He hurt his ankle. We didn't think he'd finish off the playoffs strong, but he did, got a title. It escaped him the year before when, he lost to the Lakers. Comes back the next year. They win the title for him. Nice kid. Nice way to end your career. You can't say too much, anything bad about him, but you can't say too much about him either.
And finally, Brad, to wrap up the 20-06 season, the Mike Petrodelis Memorial Playoffs MVP. And as we've spoken about moments ago, there was really no other choice but James Dean.
James Dean, another award, deserved award. I was leaning between him and, of course, their point guard that everyone knows, Jamal Baskin. Between them, who would get the other award. But James Dean, and the only thing I didn't understand about this young man, deserves all these awards, deserves his title, earned his title. Why wouldn't you show up to the banquet and come get your titles?
Because I hear he's kind of shy.
And he doesn't show up to your show, the most prolific TV show in MNBL history. He doesn't even show up.
Because I hear he was in Disney World holding the reservations for the team, holding it down for the team.
Oh, I didn't know. I heard
That's
things,
what
but
I heard.
Yeah, well,
I can't confirm it, but that's what I heard.
Well, I do see him walking through the projects a lot, but hey, that's him. I don't think he's carrying. I thought he was going to get a necklace with a couple trophies on it, kidding, bling bling, but didn't work out. But if you're out there and you win some awards, it'd be nice if you showed up to the banquet, especially if you win the whole thing. Just come to the banquet. Shy or not, stand in the back.
Now on to this season, Brad. And Brad, as you know, what I like to do every season is I like to add some new features to Around the Rim. And it's extremely difficult every year trying to come up with something new. But I've come up with something new yet again this year, Brad.
Wow.
And I've come up with two things. One is an official Around the Rim blog, which is under construction, but you can reach the blog. The blog is linked through MNBL19.tripod.com. correct?
Nice. Correct.
So you can go to MNBL19.tripod.com, and you can go to the ATR blog, which is under construction. If you want to know the address to the ATR blog, and I didn't put this lower third up RA, so you don't have to worry about this. I'll put it up next week. But it's around-the-rim.blogspot.com. But for the easy purposes right now, because the MNBL website has been up for, I don't know how many years, 35, 40 years.
Close.
You can go to the MNBL19.tripod.com, and it'll link to the blog. The blog is under construction, so what I have on that ATR blog, Brad, and you've been to that blog plenty of times.
have.
What I have on that ATR blog is the 2004 highlights of Around the Rim, of ATR. That was when we first came up with Caught Up in the Web. So that was when you were caught up in the web, when the first ever Caught Up in the Web.
I didn't like that.
You didn't like that. You didn't like that.
Those-
Well, folks who want to revisit that, they can go to that blog
Yes.
and revisit that. Also on that blog for the 2004 seasons, we have all the Caught Up in the MNBL web. We have all of the roll-ins for that season, and we also have all the weekly Around the Rim awards. So as I said, that blog spot is under construction. So in the coming weeks, the 2005 season will be up there, and the 20 seasons will be up there as soon as I can locate it in all those boxes that they did that major construction down in Bug Tussle this past summer. But also, Brad, what I'm going to add, and it's going to be on the web next week, is that Around the Rim, Brad, is going to also be shown on the web.
Very good.
So
Nice.
Around the Rim is going to go around this planet that we know as Earth, and everybody's going to be able to view this show. And that's going to start next week.
Next week. And where's
Next
that
week.
going to be on? MNBL's website?
Well, the reason why it's going to start next week because I have to create an address for it, and then
Okay.
and then have it linked up to the
So it would be on the
MNBL19.tripod.com.
ATR link that's on the...
Well, everything is going to be linked, baby. But I just want to
Okay.
let the folks know that ATR has entered the digital age.
Nice. So if people out there, you go to the website, MNBL19.tripod.com.
Can you try to say it any faster, Brad?
MNBL19.tripod.com. Scroll to the bottom. You'll see just before the banquet of 06, you'll see Around the Rim, ATR. Link, click that. All your blogness is in there.
There you go. Now we're going to talk about this season, Brad, the 8 teams coming, and we want to do this fairly quick because we want to leave plenty of times for the pick'ems, for the goings, and the ain't goings, because that's always been a favorite of the season opener here on Around the Rim. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the teams, how they finished last year, starting from Team 1 going down to Team 8, talking about them all. So obviously the first team we're going to talk about, Brad, the Bullets. And I have to tell you something about the Bullets. When you win 2 titles in 3 years, as far as I'm concerned, that equals 1 dynasty. And the Bullets, Brad, are the reigning dynasty in the MNBL, Malden Neighborhood Basketball League.
Absolutely agree. The Bullets, 2 out of 3 years. It took them 18 years to get that one, but they got it, and then they got greedy and got another one 2 years later. But they are a dynasty. It has been stated, especially by you. And I don't know about this year, but the dynasty's there.
Why don't you do the roll call, Brad? We're going to do something a little different. Why don't you read the roster?
Me?
Why not?
This is like an honor. A little nervous right now. Okay. The Bullets line up for 2007, as he would say. Frank Cipriano returning. Jeremy McCormick returning. Corey Spencer. Jonathan Contreras. Michael Torchetti. James Michelli. Jeffrey Legentis. Yes, he is related to Jeff Legentis of the Hawks. Joseph Redford. Suna Chamsadine. Zachary Aber. And Islands Joseph, also returning from the championship team.
And Brad, I got to tell you, first of all, you did a much better job pronouncing the names than I would. That's why I let you handle that this season. And second of all, when you've won 2 titles in 3 years, you're the hunted. The past 3 seasons, Brad, the Bullets have broken a lot of hearts out there. And the year that they didn't win, they came in 3rd place, and they went to the big dance and lost to the Lakers. But the Bullets, for the past 3 years, have only lost to a couple of teams out there. So what all that translates into, Brad, is that virtually they have the whole league gunning for them. And
Yes.
speaking about guns, Brad, they ain't got the guns, they ain't got the weapons to compete. It's going to be a long season for the Bullets. But you know what, Brad? If you're Steve Wright and the rest of the coaching squad, and and actually none of the returners, but if you're Steve Wright and Mr. Gagnon, you have home and away jackets, so you're going to go to the gym and take your beatings.
Yeah, you definitely. You're going to have to get yours. It's coming to you. 2 out of 3 championships. Of course, captained by, day 1, Steve Wright, who will be here on day 3. Steve Wright, Mark Gagnon also back. Boo Boo Collins has left. He is no longer returning with the Bullets.
Well, his job was always in jeopardy, and he was on the verge of getting fired anyway.
Well,
so
he was fired 147 times last year, so.
So you know what, he did what he needed to do. He got his 2 jackets in 3 years, and he bounced to 1. I believe he's coaching collegiate girls basketball.
It's something like that, yeah. So
I should say collegiate women's basketball.
Collegiate women, fine, fair enough. Also, from the Bullets, Jamal Baskin is playing varsity basketball this season, so he didn't return. And the big question is for the Bullets, why Meatball, why? Why didn't he return? He talked more mess on this show than anyone on the championship show. He said he'd be back. He ain't back.
Well, he took his jacket and he ran, but you know what? Cipriano has a bullet on his chest.
Yes.
So does
There's only 3, I think.
I should say a bullseye. So doesn't McCormick. And McCormick, I like him. He's a scrappy player. It's just that he has to learn that when he advances with that ball, he has to dribble, because on this planet,
yes,
if you don't dribble, it's called traveling.
Well, I watched the Jamboree. He had 11 points before half. Just so you know.
Were they all legal?
A couple were.
Oh, there you go. A couple more than last year.
And Islands Joseph is the other one with the bullseye.
On to the Hawks.
Oh, yes, the Hawks.
3 years in a row, came in second place. But Minister Bernard Stroud last season, 1 season ago in the 2006 season, said that if the Hawks didn't take the title last season, because the Hawks made some trades out there last season to better their chances to get that elusive title, because, Brad, you know, it is not the easiest thing in this league to win a title. It's not even easy to make it to the madness. But Minister Bernard Stroud did say if the Hawks did not get that title, and I quote, they are screwed. Hawks didn't get the title, and Brad, they are screwed.
As he said,
I said screwed.
He did. They're not going to have a great season. Yes, that is true. They are quite a bit screwed. They do have a few returners, a lot of newcomers. You really don't know what to say. A team that finishes 3 years in a row in second place without a title, your 4th season is a bad season.
And also, same as with the Bullets, the Hawks have left a lot of ill feelings out there, because the Hawks came back 3 seasons ago, 3 years in a row second place. There are some teams that have not beaten the Hawks since the Hawks re-entered the league. The Hawks are another team that has the bullseye on there.
Oh, yeah, no matter how your team is this year, you are going to be hunted. That is a known fact. But anyway, let's talk about the Hawks. Returning John Generazio, Jonathan Morose, Kevin Liu, Dave Israel, Zine Aus, Daniel Knight, Wiebert Lehens, but I hear that's a misprint. I heard it's Lehens Wiebert. But we're gonna have to dig into that one to see if that's the truth.
Do Wieberts wobble, but they don't fall down?
Only if they're a Lehen.
Okay.
Okay. Terrence Nolan, Peterson Norellis, and Jace Carl, the scrappy young, foofy-haired young gentleman.
I like Jace Carl.
I do like him.
I like Jace Carl.
He's a hustling fool. I do like him. He's wearing number 20 this year. So if you get down there, check him out. And, of course, Bernardo Stroud, Jovan Walcott, returning for their 4th season as the new Hawks coaches.
Now, the team that finished in 3rd place last year, the Kings, and this reporter, I consider myself a reporter, and this reporter will tell you that 1 season ago, I did not see the Kings go into the madness. I saw the Kings finishing 6th at best. The Kings shocked me. They shocked some folks in the league. They went to the big dance only to lose to the Bullets, but I don't see how the Kings cannot return to the big dance this season. And what they did during the offseason, Brad, is that they added an already returning roster a little bit stronger by making a deal with the Pistons and acquiring Michael Twisted Steel.
Michael Steele, huge acquisition for the Kings. And from what I'm hearing, no other team made offers during the offseason. So Paul Conrad did what he thought best. I'm rebuilding. I could possibly get a high draft pick, we should say, and possibly better my team for the future. And that's exactly what he did in the draft. He drafted a heap of sophomores. Not only that, he got some big boys. But we're talking about the Kings right now. Kings, definitely underrated last year. Predicted not to even make the playoffs. Ended up in third place, made the big dance. And let's see who's on their roster this season, shall we? Roger Miles Hickey. Shizzle.
The Jolly Roger.
The Jolly Roger. Leslie, I Can't Shut Up Philippe. Brian Horton. Danny Suda.
Creator of the Suda Zone.
Richie Rogers. I'm not going to complain this year. Sean McFeely, the quiet assassin, I like to call him. He's gotten a little more aggressive this year. Michael, as you said, Twisted Steel, now a member of the Kings. Jimmy Sherry, expect huge defensive plays by him. Robert Berdard, Michael Ricketts, and the last name on this sheet, I heard may have already quit. Why? I don't know.
Well, you know what, Brad? One thing you can say about Wiskender Profit is that he's consistent.
He is consistent. Did it last year.
If that is,
do it again.
If that is true, he's consistent. Chris Rogers, Glenn Higgins, they went to the big dance last year. They had a taste of it. They want to eat the whole pie this year.
Yes, they do, with Krista Vega, Pat Basha, Danny Gillis, all coming back. They are very hungry, and obviously the coaching staff returned because they feel they can win a title. If the Kings weren't going to be in contention, I don't think those three would be back. But anyway, the Kings have a good chance. The odds are with them now with the acquisition of Michael Steele, and they expect a lot from Michael Ricketts. So the M&M tandem should be, good offensively. Defensively, we're going to have to see how they produce this year. But they definitely have a shot at returning to the big dance.
The team that finished in fourth place one season ago, Brad, the Sonics. The Sonics for years have been that blue-collar team. There's nothing pretty about this team. There's nothing fancy about this team. They go out and they do the job, and the job is down low in the paint. They get dirty. It's in the Crayola area. Chuck Rogers, Gary Rogers, Troy Dinkins, they always have a solid Sonic squad, Brad.
Oh, definitely. No matter what team they put on the floor, they always give their best. They always play for Chucky. They might fear Bubba, and they listen to Troy. So there's a good nucleus with the coaching staff. The team, you never see someone on their squad, except for the year that they had qualities, actually really be their top star. Since then, every year they've had people who did their job and did it well, and they always competed. Whether they made it or they didn't make it, they always competed. So Sonics, you can never underrate or overrate, so you just have to play defense with them. But they do have a decent squad, and they didn't look too bad. So Jake Halloran, Tom Redford, Dan Liu, Sean Chase, Jeff Legentis, I said was on the Hawks. I apologize, he's a Sonic. Joe Carlson, Michael Lopes Raftery, and I hear he's Brazilian. Lensley Adam, Michael O'Brien, Michael Dominici, rounding off the Sonic squad this season.
Blue-collar team. Chuck Rogers always has those boys prepared, and the Sonics, historically, under Chuck Rogers' tutelage, can beat any team at any time, including championship-quality teams. Team that finished in fifth place, Brad, the Lakers, the champions of the 2005 season. And Brad, the callers in the purple and gold family, Malden's favorite team, the callers have officially changed from white to blue. Long gone are the Jeremy Rockers, long gone are the Steve Wards, long gone are the Rashad Langstons, these guys that can hit outside shots. Long gone is Brendan Berger, what we used to call Berger down there, who had himself a block party. Those guys are long gone. If the Lakers are going to do anything, Brad, they realize that they have to, or at least the coaches, Beanie Amos and Bernard Stroud, realize that they have to change their collars from white to blue and get down and dirty in the paint, Brad.
I absolutely agree. The Lakers this year, You said it. Of course, I'm going to miss Rashad Langston, the spark plug, I called him, of the Lakers. One of my favorite players to come through this league. I just loved his intensity. He had hang time for a little man. And whenever you see a little guy competing with the big guys, you got to give him his respect. So I will miss him. Obviously, this year they are quite different. They had to, go with their returning bench and some new folk. So we'll start with Parnell Lassou, Dylan Hager, Andrew Deliacano, Chris LaForest, Josh Gomez, John Jean, Deshaun Bunch, Calliston Huggins, Johnny Jean, and Michael Chesson.
Now, John Jean and Johnny Jean, Brad, they are twins.
I was going to ask you if they were brothers.
They're twins. But what I want to know, Calliston Huggins, is he the brother of Glenn Higgins?
No, he's the close distant cousin.
Okay, because there's only a vowel difference.
Yes, well, if his performance increased, he probably would have been a claim. Just going with that.
It's not going to be a smooth season for the Lakers, in my opinion, Brad.
Nope, they're going to need Deshaun Bunch to score a bunch. I'm going with him to be their big man.
Next team, the Emerald of the Celtics. The Celtics, Brad, this team, and we're going to talk more about this team later on, but this team was a team that we both had going to the Madness. This team was the team that we both have going to the Big Dance. This team was the team that I predicted that was going to take the whole damn thing one season gone, and this team was the team that did not show up until the last weekend of the last season, Brad. Mm-hmm. But the Celtic team, Brad, is looking dangerous. This is a very dangerous and competitive team. I say that and also said that 1 year ago, Brad.
Yes, you did. And I agree. We both had them going to the finals. You had them winning. I had them losing. But they were supposed to go to the finals. They didn't even make the Madness. So the Celtics...
And that made Magic mad.
Magic was very upset. But, when you have Magic, you never know what's going to happen with that Celtic team. So as dangerous as they could be, with one snap of his fingers, Magic can change that and bench the whole starting five. So that's what certain teams are hoping for this year. But let's go through it. David Bossari returning with Michael Liu, John O'Leary, Drew Weiner, Robert Skane, Donald DeRocher, Richard Dwyer, and new adds to the Celtics this year, Marvin Mothersill, Jason Chen, and Jared Pemberton. 3 newcomers for the Celtics.
On to the team that finished second to last, Brad. The past couple of seasons prior, they were finished butt naked last, so they did improve. Yes. They have finished one above butt naked last, and we're talking about the Pistons. It's been a long time since Paul Conrad has been over 500. It used to be at one time, Brad, that every even year they were in the cellar, and every odd year they were on top of the heap. This is an odd year. I'm not sure they're going to be on top of the heap, but I could almost guarantee that they're not going to be cellar dwellers. And the reason why I said almost, because I'm also the same reporter that reported that the Celtics were going to take the whole damn thing last year.
Yes.
So I got to put the almost in front of these things now, Brad.
Okay, well, we can do that. We can retract statements halfway through the season, can't we? The Pistons, yes, this year should be improved from second to last. So we'll have to go with that. And we'll start with Marwin Mondesir, Alan Friedman, Chris Michelli, Joe Wilhart, Kevin Barry, and all the new guys coming, Charles Washington, Steve Sands, Kyle Rufo, Marcus Bailey, and Craig Garner. Not a bad draft at all for Paul Conrad. The newly engaged Paul Conrad, might I add.
You mean him and Lisa Ruggiero are finally going to get hitched?
Finally hitched!
And that's 9 years strong.
That's 9 years strong on their 9-year anniversary. Paul done took her to Stoneham Zoo to see the pretty Christmas lights. Pop the question.
Just because they're engaged doesn't mean they're, that could still be another 2 more years.
No. When you talk to Lisa, it's going to be fairly soon.
Yeah. Well, she would hope for it to be this Saturday. And she waited 9 years.
Last Saturday, knowing her.
Well, he better buy her a car, too. Anyway, the Pistons, good luck to them this year. Good luck to the Conrads, Paul and Lisa, and the rest of their coaching staff. They did bring back Anthony Guerrero as a coach to join, of course, the artiste, the unknown coach, as we have called him for many years, he has returned as well and looking quite colorful, I might add.
And Howard Jones, and when Howard Jones talk, people listen. They have to listen because he mumbles.
Yes.
On to the team that came in last place, Brad. And we talked, matter of fact, if you go to the website, which is
MNBL19.tripod.com.
the webmaster has put a list of curses in the MNBL. The first curse was for a whole heap of years. It was known as the King's Curse. That curse, and the King's Curse was that they couldn't get out of the madness. That curse was broken in the year 2001 in the big dance, rather. That'll probably go down as one of the best big dances ever when the Kings did defeat the Pistons by a score of 66-60. Then after that, it was the Bullet Blues, because it was 1988 was a long time ago for the Bullets. A couple of seasons later, the Bullets have got their title, their first of 2 titles in 3 years, making them one dynasty. Then afterwards, for one season, it was the Laker Lapse. The Laker Lapse was over in the season 2005. You okay, Brad? You're not going to choke on me.
I do apologize. I do have an allergy tickle.
We still got 28 minutes
Yes,
left.
we do.
I want to have to resuscitate you, brother.
Hey.
And after the Lakers' lapse was over, we have gone into the period of the Sixer sorrow. And basically, after the Sixers had made that monster deal, not under Cliff Williams, but under Adam O'Brien, that had basically sent these draft picks for the next 5 seasons, Brad. I mean, it took this team just about 5 seasons to recover from those multiple deals that they made. And now, Brad, I'm liking this Sixers squad. This Sixers squad, in my opinion and my prediction, not going to finish butt naked last this year. Cliff Williams has a much better squad this season.
Cliff Williams, definitely a better squad this year. He has Michael McQuardo coming back as his assistant, could be his crutch. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I love Michael. Anyway, they do have returners. Eric Ribeiro, Matt Emanuel, who I'm saying right now will make All-Stars. If he doesn't, it'll be a travesty. One of the most underrated big men in this league. Can pass like nobody's tomorrow, and he's pretty agile for a man his size. He's not bad, as long as he realizes he's not a three-point threat. Josh McCown, last year's Rookie of the Year, not a bad person to return. Sean Hickey, Sammy Jean, Ricky Douglas, Everson Blanc, John McMillan, Jonathan Lamb, and Olgens Cheridor, they call OJ, will be a beast down low in the middle for those Sixers. Yes, much improved, but they do have 2 of the smallest people in the league on their squad, so teams are going to have to try to take advantage of that. But the Sixers don't look too shabby at all.
Now, Brad, and we're actually about 2 minutes ahead of schedule, and that doesn't happen often with us, Brad, because we both have the gift o' gab.
That's true. And I just want to say one thing. Are you Italian at all? You are using your hands masterfully tonight.
Because I'm not holding my pen. I'm lost without holding this pen.
And you're adding. You're like 2 minutes here and there and this. Oh,
well, you know what, Brad? Because this show is going on the web, I got to be tight.
15 years strong.
Now, we could talk about this tightness for the next couple of minutes and then be behind schedule.
We don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that, so we want to get to the pick'ems. The pick'ems, Brad, the part of the show for which everybody is always looking forward to. The part of the show where some folks even skip the first 30 minutes to get down to the pick'ems.
Oh, there's people going to have some hurt feelings, I'm telling you.
You know what, Brad? You predict that every year, and I'm predicting that too, okay? This is the pick'ems, or what we like to affectionately call it the goings and the ain't goings. And Brad, the tradition is going to continue, and I am going to start off with the goings and the ain't goings, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Unless you want to break tradition.
You roll with the ball, my friend. It's all you.
Okay. I have in my hand 2 piles. I'm
going to do that. Hold on.
I have the goings. I have the ain't goings. Okay? So, team ain't going. First team that ain't going, the Mighty Kings. That team just ain't going. That team went to the big dance last year. That team is coming back with a cocky attitude. I'm not talking about the coaches. Chris Rogers, Glenn Higgins, they're both level-headed, but there's only one level-headed, meaning that they are both intelligent coaches. they know that any team can beat any team in any given weekend. Unfortunately for the Kings, the players, they don't know that. So what I see the Kings losing a couple of games. I see them fighting amongst themselves, and I just don't see the Kings going. So the Kings, unfortunately, just ain't going. Next team that ain't going, I'm going to the Bullets. But you know what, Steve Wright, we're going to give you a pass because, as I said at the top of the show, when you have 2 titles in 3 years, you're one dynasty. The whole league's after your team, pal. The Bullets just ain't going. But that's okay, Steve. You can go to these games with your home and away jackets. And Brad, I forgot to mention that there is a new person in the family of the MNBL. Steve Wright did have a son that was born this past summer. His name is Connor. So Connor Wright, welcome to this world and welcome to this family that is known as the Marlin Neighborhood Basketball League.
Now, what day would he be?
Well, ask his daddy that because I can't do that mathematics right. You know,
and we don't have the web up, so you can't answer that.
I'm having a time with the pick'ems and goings and ain't goings, okay? But the Bullets just ain't going. The Hawks finished second place, 3 years, got you no titles. You are screwed. The Hawks just ain't going. Bernacco, Jovan, there ain't no more Jamie Guess. Get over it. Okay, the Lakers, the purple and gold, this team was white-collared for the past several seasons. They were in the mix. They need to change their collars to blue. I don't see it happening. Don't even think this team could realistically make 500 unless they shock some teams. But I got to tell you something. When the Lakers lose, and Beanie Amos has lost just about any way imaginable and possible. And just when you think that there is no other way that Beanie Amos and the Lakers can lose, those boys invent a new way of losing. So the boys and the purple and gold, they just ain't going. Lakers ain't going. And finally, the Hawks, not the Hawks, we already know that they're screwed. But finally, the Sonics, that blue-collar team, Chuck Rogers always put a good, solid team on the floor. Last year, they got to the madness. And they had a better team last year than this year. I just don't see that team going. I see that team just missing it, so I see the Sonics. The Sonics just ain't going. So now who are goings? I got the teams that are goings, okay? I see the Pistons going. What I like about the Pistons is that they are all on the same page, they are all reading the same book, and they are all in the same library. This team is not going to overpower any teams out there, but this team, everybody distributes the ball. They make the defense work. I like Kyle Rufo banging the boards underneath. He's a sophomore, Brad. He has some meat on his bones. He doesn't mind getting dirty, getting into the paint. Their leader on their team is Kevin Barry. I've seen them at the Jamboree, Brad. I've seen them scrimmage a couple of teams, Brad. And Paul Conrad really hasn't even had a full practice with these boys. But these boys know that for the past several seasons that the Pistons have been losing. More often than not in the past few seasons, they've become them butt naked last. They're tired of that. I see the Pistons. The Pistons are going. Another team I see going, I see the Sixers going. We just said moments ago, Brad, that the Sixers basically spent 5 years to get over that monster trade, and Cliff Williams knows the game of basketball. Cliff Williams does have a title. He did coach the year 2000 Celtics to a championship title. He was their head coach, but Brad, you always say every year that Gary Bubba Rogers was the brains behind that.
Well, so he was the head coach in my opinion, yes.
But regardless,
on paper he was too.
Regardless, Cliff Williams does have a title, so he knows how to get to the big dance and he knows how to win. He tasted the fruits of victory. So the Sixers are going. The Celtics, Brad, I say this with intrepidation, which is the vocab word for today.
It is a vocab.
I say this with intrepidation. The reason why I say this is because I predicted these Emerald boys to take the whole damn thing last year, and they did not do it, Brad. So I'm kind of hesitant to say this, but, you know, they have this nice, strong squad coming back with these returners. You know, I like Basavi on the court. He's one of the shortest in the league, but Basavi knows his role as the point guard to distribute the ball. I like John O'Leary. I like Drew Weiner. I like Bobby Skane. Those are the core group for the Celtics. Magic is a very knowledgeable coach. Last season, Brad, is the only season that Magic did not take his boys to the madness since he left the Lakers to captain the ship of the Celtics. So I see the Celtics going. So now what we have, Brad, is we have 3 teams going and we have 5 teams who ain't going. And the MNBL, it's 4-4. So what I want to do is I just went for the reaction. The Kings are going. Of course the Kings are going. Come on. If this team had gone to the Big Ten, I just did that for the reaction, Brad, because I wanted to see what Coach Chris Rogers and Coach Glenn Higgins, matter of fact, I'm pretty damn near sure that Glenn Higgins is on the floor with a heart attack and Chris Rogers ain't resuscitating him because he's right next to him too. I think Tracy Rogers is resuscitating both of them, and that's not going to make one Brielle happy, but she doesn't live in Marlins. She don't know what's going on. But in any case, Brad, of course this Kings teams are going. When you have Leslie Philippe on the point, when you have Richie Rogers that's going to be down low getting those boards, you add Michael Twisted Steel to the mix, and of course Danny Suter, the Suter Zone. How could this team not be going, Brad? Come on. So I see the goings, I see the Kings going, I see the Celtics going, I see the Sixers going, and I see the Pistons going, Brad. So how they finish, I'm not sure, but I see the madness coming, and the Pistons in the madness. It's going to be a good game. Matter of fact, I see 2 good games in the madness. It's going to be a good game in the madness. The Pistons are going to distribute the ball. They're going to make their opponents work. But at the end, they're going to lose the battle of the boards. They're going to lose the battle of the line where everything is free. And need I say, Brad, whose man is that? So the Pistons will not advance. Okay, Brad, I see the Sixers to come from worse to get to the madness is a damn good accomplishment. And the Sixer team could possibly be in the mix again next season. But I do not see the Sixers getting out of the madness, Brad, so the Sixers just ain't going. So, Brad, I have the Kings. I have the Celtics. Once again, Brad, I'm putting the Celtics in the big dance, and the Kings are in the big dance, and this is very interesting that we have here, Brad. Okay, we have a team in the Celtics that have never finished. No, actually, that's the Kings. The Kings that have never finished in first place. The Celtics, on the other hand, have never finished in last place. I figure I'll throw in a Celtic fact because I mistakenly started with the Celtic first. But I see the big dance coming between the Kings and the Celtics. Coach Magic told me, Nestor, whatever you do, do not predict the Celtics because you were jinx last year. I was the jinx last year, Magic. Your coaching was the jinx because you will throw a game to prove your point to the boys. Instead of doing what the other 7 coaches do, you get them at practice. You go for the W and you get them at practice. The Kings, on the other hand, Brad, this King team is definitely going back to the big dance. And matter of fact, this past weekend, Brad, at the Jamboree, if I'm not mistaken, it was Celtics and Kings. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. It was Celtics and Kings. So I see these guys head-to-head this season virtually splitting. I see the big dance going to overtime, possibly double overtime. And I see one team beating the other team on the line where everything is free. And saying that for the second year in a row, I'm picking the Celtics, the Emerald Green, to take the whole damn thing. Brad, your turn, brother.
My turn, and we're going to start off fast and furious because that's how I do it. And we ain't holding back no punches this year because controversy surrounds me every year, even though I wasn't even there. Anyways, we will start with your defending champions, Bullets. It's not going to happen this year. Good for you. Welcome, Connor. Sorry, Steve, you're out. The Hawks. He said it more than once. He said it more than 4 times. You're screwed! Screwed! You ain't going. You ain't got no firepower. You don't have a lead man. Like Jace Carl, sophomore, going to need a couple years to develop with the team around him. Nobody else is really going to jump up. Peterson's okay. Weber can jump. You just don't have it.
Wobble, but they don't fall down?
Correct, unless you're a Lehens. So they ain't going. The other team I see that ain't going, sorry, in the NBA, the Lakers are my favorite team. In the MNBL,
they're not your favorite team.
They're not my favorite team. So everybody has their favorites. So on that point, the Lakers, without, of course, Steve Ward, Rashad Langston, the Jeremy Rockers, the Chocolate Thunders, the whatever have yous, they ain't going, and I just ain't going to say where they're going to finish either because they ain't going, so it doesn't matter. And This pick here was a tough one for me. Contemplated it all day. I see a battle for fourth place, believe it or not, just because of the coaching styles. The Sonics coaching staff, very strong, know their game, always put the best team on the court, and the right units always playing with each other. They're going to battle the Pistons for fourth place. The Pistons surrounded by 4 strong sophomores, 1 very strong junior, and a strong senior in Kevin Barry, is going to be just enough to catapult them over. And the reason why I'm saying the Sonics ain't going is because Michael Lopes-Raftery, their center, their tallest man on the court, I heard he can only make half the games. That ain't going to help you. You're not going to make it. Pistons finishing 4th. Bring you up next to the Sixers. The Sixers will go, depending if OJ shows up. OJ, earlier in the season, when he was first drafted, said, if I'm not a Celtic or a King, I'm not playing.
I don't like that attitude.
I hate that attitude.
That's a piss poor attitude.
It is a damn piss poor attitude.
And can you say piss poor on Access Television?
I think you did more than once.
And what about the World Wide Web?
The World Wide Web, you can say it.
Okay.
It's legal.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either. But OJ, you made some mistakes in the past. No, that's a different OJ. Now, Olgins, nice kid. I like him a lot. He ended up retracting that. He came to a practice. But I've heard he's only been at 1 or 2. He's not showing up, and I heard he has church issues on Sunday, so he might not be there the whole season. Sixers will still go, but it's going to be tough for them. They might not even get to 3rd place. The Pistons might catapult them. You never know. It all depends on certain people, like the Rafteries, the Olgins, the Cheridors, and
the Hatfields, the McCoys.
The Hatfields and McCoys. I'm sorry, I dropped them on the floor. I apologize. They're up here.
Well, you're so used to dropping a team on the floor.
That did last year, so 5 years, sorry. Anyway, the next 2 teams, obviously, the Celtics and the Kings, definitely going. The Celtics, you talked about the Winers, the Skanes, all-stars. You can't say much about them. During the Jamboree, Skane showed why. Weiner showed why. If anyone could stop him going left, you'll understand why he shouldn't be. But he does his job, and he does it well. Say what you want. He only has a left. He only has a left, and he's still scoring on you. So that will help them get there. John O'Leary, if he can keep his hot-headedness down, will be a better player. Marvin Mothersill, not at the Jamboree. Jared Pemberton, not at the Jamboree. I've seen these guys. They can jump, and they can jump high. The 2 of these guys, very strong rebounders. That's what's going to catapult them, through this season, as well as Skane's three-point ability, his height, Drew Weiner's strong, solid play. Marvin and Jared with getting the boards and helping on offense can only help them. And speaking of rebounds, you look at the Kings acquiring Michael Steele, acquiring Michael Ricketts in the draft. Ricketts should be their probably most prolific outside shooter, as well as Danny Suter. Leslie Philippe claiming he's a lot better. Richie Rogers claiming he's not going to complain this year. He just wants to play ball and win it. Surrounded by everybody. Jimmy Sherry, the pit bull of the Kings. We're going to call him the pit bull for now. It might change. Along with, the co-captains, M. Shizzle and D. Suter. They're going to go.
Who's M. Shizzle? The Jolly Roger?
The Jolly Roger.
Why is he
likes M. Shizzle? I don't know why.
The Jolly Rogers,
It's much just past the Christmas season. What better name than Jolly?
The Jolly Rogers is more realistic than M. What's an M. Shizzle? But why am I asking you this? I should ask him that.
Yeah, I don't know if we can say that on Access, but it'll be on the web.
I was just going to say, don't say it. I don't have a bleep button back here.
Yes, we can't say it on Access, but it'll probably make the web or YouTube. Anyway, we got the Final 4 in this MNBL 20-07 season. The Final 4 will come down to the Kings, Celtics, Sixers, Pistons, as well as
what a coinky-dink. That was the same Final 4 I got.
It was?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, what a coinky-dink.
What a coinky-dink.
We don't discuss this beforehand. We just do this.
No, we don't. This is actually a shock. So I'm just going to cut to the chase. I'm not even going to bother.
No, why don't you bother? We got some time. You can bother a few
We
minutes.
got time?
Oh, yeah, we
All
can
right, I
bother
was
2
just
minutes.
gonna
Yeah,
eliminate two right away.
We got 10 minutes strong. You can bother.
Again, I apologize. Allergy tickle. I was babysitting cats and a dog over the past week, and it just won't go away. So I'm allergic to cats. Sorry.
TMI, Brad. Let's go.
Yeah, sorry. Well, I just figured I got time. Anyway.
We ain't got that much time. We ain't got that much time. There you go.
Well, let me tell you, it all started when I was a young boy growing up in the woods. Oh, sorry. Anyway, the Kings, Celtics, Sixers, Pistons, your Final Four, in my opinion, his as well. The Sixers, I think, will struggle due to the fact that they don't know if Mr. Cheridor is going to be there for the season or if he's going to go to church. And the stability of Josh McCown, Lord knows what's going to happen, but he can shoot some darn free throws, that boy can. The improvement of Matt Emanuel, Eric Ribeiro should help. But again, I think their height is a factor. I don't think it's going to help them enough to get over that block. They will not advance. Also, the Pistons. Very young squad, going to be very dangerous for 2 seasons after this one. They have some size with Washington, Sands, and Rufo. There might be some problems and controversy following Sands, who, as well as Mr. O.J. Cheridor, claimed he wanted out of his Piston contract the day he was called during the draft, saying, I want to be a Hawk. Is there any way you could trade me, Coach Conrad?
Brad, have I ever said that when that happens, I think that's a piss poor attitude? Have I ever said that?
You might have. You might have mentioned it once or 4 times.
And can you say piss poor on Access Television?
Yes, you can, as long as you're saying it in the right terminology. But on the web, you're allowed.
Okay. How you know I was going to ask about the web?
We're here.
Okay, there you go.
15 years.
All right.
Okay, so the Pistons, little worried about that minor controversy. If he sticks around, they're going to get some boards because there's some wide bodies. They don't have the overall athleticism, I'd say, but they do have some big boys. Craig Garner is going to surprise a lot of people this season. Watch out for him. Marcus Bailey, the point guard of the future. Kyle Rufo, nice kid, fills in, knows his job, will get the job done.
And a much better athlete than his father.
He's got a little height on him too, so that helps. But the Pistons, young, not mature enough, tank going to advance. And it comes down to the final 2 as same as you. I just rhymed right there. I didn't even try to. Anyway.
You're more of a M. Shizzle than the other guy, but go ahead.
Word up. Be shizzle. If I ever get called that, someone punch me. Don't really do it.
Okay.
On TV anyway. Celtics, Kings, predicting to go to the big dance. The Celtics did defeat the Kings in the Jamboree by 3. They did not have Marvin Mothersill nor Jared Pemberton. Joe Young is in search of Jared Pemberton. He's asking, where's Jared? They found Waldo. They can't find Jared.
Jared's missing?
He's missing. Can't find him. Don't know where he is. No showed, no call, nothing. They called him, not answering the phone.
Rats.
That's not good. He might be still around, but he could be hanging with Waldo, and they can't find either one of them. So anyway, John O'Leary, a good outside shooter, will help them. Skane, obviously, with threes. But when the Celtics team defeats the Kings in the Jamboree, it's kind of a reality check. That could carry them over to a championship. Who knows? But when you have your best 2 rebounders not being there, beating a fully manned squad with the Kings, that's a good confidence booster for the Celtics. The Kings, on the other hand, have tasted the big dance last year. They're very hungry. They have just about the same team returning as well as the Celtics. Both mature enough, we hope, to make it one heck of a dance. I don't see an overtime like you do, but I do see a minor difference. I see the Kings capturing their second title in the 20-aught seasons and coming out victorious by, say, 8. Kings by 8 in the big dance.
Brad, I find that hard to believe that you predict the Kings to take the whole damn thing.
I know. Go figure. Well, that's what I see. We both agree, Kings, Celtics. Like last year, we agreed Bullets, Celtics. We went the other way. We're going to go the other way again. Let's see what happens.
About 30 seconds are gone, Brad. RA gave me the 4-minute cue, so now we're down to 3:30 and counting. But I just want to go to next week's games, the season opener coming up. Yes, next week's games. First game is going to be the Sixers and the Bullets. The Bullets will not hang their banner this year. They're going to hang their this weekend. They're going to hang their banner the following weekend. That's game 1, which is at 1:15. Game 2, which is at 2:30, Sonics versus the Hawks. And game 3 is the Lakers versus the Kings. I forgot to italicize that third game, but in that third game, you're going to have Beanie, Chris, and Glenn. Oh my, anything can happen. Sunday's games, the first game, now on the schedule, Brad, it reads Celtics Pistons first game, but the Celtics, Pistons, Lakers, Sonics have all agreed to swap because Paul Conrad, the newly engaged Paul Conrad, is not going to be there until the third game because I think Lisa got the boy out there trying to book churches and stuff like that because they're going to be exchanging nuptials in the near future.
So Coach Amos was nice enough to switch. That's a nice wedding gift.
Yeah, very nice wedding gift from Coach Amos and Chuck Rogers, who was Paul Conrad's coach when Paul Conrad played in the MNBL. Yes. In any case, the first game is Lakers, Sonics, followed by the Bullets, Kings, Celtics, Pistons, and in that third game, Celtics, Pistons. Whose man is that? Around the Rim, ATR, when you can see Around the Rim, every Thursday live, 7:30, Channel 3. Okay, and Channel 15, I see. Replays every Friday night. They moved us back 1 hour, Brad. So on Friday night's replays is going to be 11 p.m. on Channels 3 and 15, and the replays happen the following Tuesday, every Tuesday evening from 4 o'clock on Channel 3. Next screen. When to watch them? Each Monday through Wednesday at 3 p.m. on Channels 15. Brad, no more of the games going to be on Channel 3 for the past several seasons. We were in this transition period because we spent about 12 seasons on Channel 3 exclusively. Then the last 3 seasons, we've been on Channel 3 and Channel 15 to make the transition to Channel 15. Now we're fully transitionized to Channel 15 because Channel 3 just has so many doggone programming that we're fully on Channel 15, which is the educational channel, which the MNBL game should have been on that channel from the get-go. So it's going to be on 3 p.m. on Channels 15, and the GOTW Game of the Week every Friday night, 7 p.m. Channel 15. Game of the Week will be the winners and losers in a couple of weeks because we haven't played the games yet, Brad. We haven't played the games. Yes.
So you're basically saying, same time, new channel.
Basically. I should let you do the splash screens from now on. The next splash screen, where to read them? You can read them at the Malden Evening News every Friday. And if you're too cheap to spend the 50 cents, notice how I said 50 cents because...
Isn't it 75 now?
No, last year I put 75, and then I was told when it was 3 shows to go that it was 50 cents. So now I put 50 cents and now 75 cents. But in any case, if you're too cheap to spend less than $1, right, you can go to MNBL19.tripod.com.
You don't need the dubba.
You don't need the dubba. So Bradworth, Benton, always representing. I just want to thank you for being on.
Well, thank you for having me. 15 years. Unbelievable. You deserve something.
I deserve to get something. And we're also going to see you on the mid-season report card. But until then, I just want to say buenas noches, hooches cooches. I came in peace. I leave with love. This is for the red, the black, and the green. And I'll be seeing you at the games.